My name is Jim Buoye. I'm the World Language Supervisor at Northern Valley Regional High School District. We offer a variety of languages. We have about 22 World Language and ESL teachers throughout the district, and we have about 900 or so students in each language program in each building. We want the students to come out of this program, being able to communicate, is our ultimate goal. And I think at the high school level, we're always looking, towards the future. We want to prepare the students for not only what they're doing now, but beyond. So our hope is that students that come out of our program will continue studying in college, and then, eventually use the language skills that they acquire, in their professional life. Because again, I think if we look at the 21st century, what we're looking at now is that, our students are competing against, students throughout the world, for jobs. One of our goals and objectives in the World Language Program is to, give our students that foundation so that when they eventually get out into the job market, that they'll be able to speak English and another language. So I think the number of languages that we have, that we offer in our program, speaks to, the support that the community gives and that the Board of Education gives, and the recognition that the study of world languages is vitally important, for our students as we move to the 21st century. And I think one of the reasons why the students like coming into the language lab is that unlike in a traditional classroom, they can sit down at the computer and then they can have access to authentic sources on the internet. They can view videos, they can speak and they can record, they can speak to, if we pair the students, they can speak with each other in the classroom and really interact just as you normally would if you were out on the street speaking with somebody. So I think one of the benefits of the language lab is that you can just come into a classroom setting and you have all of those options available. Not that you're going to use them in every time you're in the lab, but they are all that different way of accessing resources and having the students practice in different modes is readily available to you when you're operating in the language lab. The students are, they're on their cell phones, they're on their iPads, they're on their computers at home constantly, all the time. That's just sort of the environment that they operate in. So when they come in here, to them it's almost like a breath of fresh air to come out of the classroom and to come in here. They feel very, very comfortable. In many cases, the students are even more comfortable than the teachers are because they're so much more accustomed to using this, on a daily basis. So I think the students feel very comfortable. And again, if they're comfortable and relaxed, it makes it that much easier to get the content and get the learning across to them. Sometimes they don't even realize that they are learning when they're in the lab. I think the teachers, initially, there's always a learning curve, and it takes time for teachers to get, used to the system and its potential. But I think, the teachers enjoy, going into the lab. And again, I think the teachers appreciate the fact that they can, listen to the students. They can make the recordings, and they don't necessarily have to assess the kids right at that moment. They can take those with them, and they can listen to them later. They can save those. They can go back and use them. And again, I think they found that the students, again, once they get used to the lab, that they like to go in there. They like to be recorded. They like hearing their voices. And I think the teachers are still at the point of, again, I think we've just sort of scratched the surface of the potential that that minor offers. But it also dovetails nicely with some of the things that we're doing in the district in terms of our class management systems and teacher web pages and things like that. So I think that as we move on, the teachers, again, I think will be able to utilize Virtuoso even more in terms of bringing in resources from outside, digital resources, for the students to use as we move on. I have one teacher in particular who, again, the first day of school, she wants to make sure that she can get into the language lab, and she records her class on that first day. And then every time that she goes into the lab after that, when she's scheduled, she'll try to record the students. And then she keeps that, and each student has an individual portfolio. And another good thing about keeping those student files is that the students then can go in and listen, and we encourage them to go in and to self-assess. And I know students, and one of the things that they enjoy doing, and one of the things they do really well is when they listen, they pick up, on both the good points, the progress that they've made, and also to, the areas where they can improve. So one of the benefits of having the language lab is that ability to have those recordings and have them easily accessible, to both the teacher and to the student. One of the features that in Virtuoso Minor is the ability to create tasks, that the teacher can create their own tasks using their own voice and resources that they have available to them. And it's very easy to do that. So for example, if I wanted to create a task where I could be asking questions to the students, I can sit down at a soloist recorder as a teacher and just record those questions, save that, and then later I can go back in and I can add the amount of time that I want for the students to be able to respond to that. I could add a picture to that file if I wanted to. I could add a video. And the thing is that it's relatively easy to create those. And once I have created that, then I can share that with my colleagues, and we can modify that. I can take that same task that I created and I can change it. I could add something, I can subtract from that. But just the ease with which you can create those tasks and share them, I think is one of the nice features of Virtuoso Minor. We just got the Virtuoso Minor system, so we're still exploring all of its capabilities. And just recently I went to a workshop on Virtuoso Minor, and I learned that there's so much more potential in the system than I even realized when we first got it. So one of the things that we're going to be doing this year, for example, is we have many students with IEPs in our classes. And so what I realized, we can differentiate instruction when we're in the lab. So for example, I could send out the same task to all the students in the class, and what I can do with Virtuoso Minor is I can then group those students. So I can put all the students who have IEPs and accommodations in one group. And then when I send the task out to them, it could be the same task the other students are doing, but Virtuoso would allow me to give those students more time, to complete their task. So one of the things that we're looking to do in the upcoming year is differentiated instruction using the lab environment. We also have combined classes. Some of our upper level classes are combined. So again, what Virtuoso will allow the teacher to do is, again, to differentiate. She can put the Japanese 4 students in one group and give them a task to do, and the Japanese 4 honors students can be doing something completely different. In our district, we're always looking to improve our AP scores. And so this year, there are certain tasks that are geared for AP students. So, for example, a teacher could be sending out, a text file, a video file, an audio file to a student in an AP class, giving them a task to do, which may include them recording their voices. And this is to prepare them for the AP test. Those same tasks then can be, they can be modified, and they can be used at any level in the language program. So one of the things that I'm looking forward to the teachers doing this year is then doing similar tasks with maybe a Spanish 1 class or a Spanish 2 class that mimics what they have to do for the AP test. Again, geared to their level, to the amount of time they spent in the program. So have them practicing those tests. So by the time they get to the AP class, they're already used to, dealing with these tests, and hopefully, that will be a boost to our AP scores. If you're thinking about acquiring Virtuoso, I would encourage you to also avail yourself of the opportunity of the professional development that SANS offers. I recently went to a training, and again, it really opened my eyes as to the potential for what Virtuoso can do. And I think that will really get your staff, off on the right foot and up and running, and utilizing the lab to its fullest potential if you do use the professional development. Just in the time that we've used Virtuoso, we found the staff to be very responsive. If we have problems, we can call them. They get back to us right away. I had a reply to the question that I had, which was great for me because then I was able to move on with what I was trying to do in the lab.